Hey, how's it going, fight fans? Welcome to Mind for Combat. If you're new to the channel, my name's Rohan, and to my platform, I do fight sports related content. So if you're new here, why don't you help me grow my platform? All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, like the video if you like it, and maybe hit that bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a video. With that said, in this video, I'll be breaking down the upcoming featherweight main event between Max Holloway and Calvin Kattar, which caps off the first fight night of 2021, which after 2020, we're all looking forward to, aren't we? It's a very important fight for both men as well, and for different reasons. For Max Holloway, whilst he's been fighting only championship fights, he is 1-3 in his last 4, back-to-back losses to Volkanovski, and although I gave him the last Volkanovski fight, as did many people, he is coming off back-to-back losses to the champ. And he fights Calvin Kattar, who's actually won 2 in a row since losing to Zabit, and has become a top contender and almost a hardcore fans hero. A lot of people are talking about Calvin Kattar, his ability, his knockout power, and a win over a former champ who a lot of people such as myself perceive as the current people's champion would definitely put him in line for a title shot, and will probably even make him leapfrog Zabit in the title stakes, despite the fact that he lost to Zabit in their recent fight. So very important fight for both men. Without further ado, let's go through the tail of the tape and break this one down. Now, Max Holloway is still a young man. It's kind of crazy to think how young he was when he signed with the UFC. I think he was 19 years old. That was about 10 years ago, because he's now 29 years old. And he's definitely come into his own. He's definitely growing still as a fighter, as we saw in the last Volkanovski fight. He's changed up his game and grown some skills. And he fights Calvin Kattar, who at 32 years old is still in his physical prime. And in the prime of his career, he's shown the best traits and best glimpses that we've seen of him so far, most recently. So great time for both these guys to meet in their primes. Max Holloway comes into this fight with a professional record of 21 wins and 6 losses, and he fights Calvin Kattar, who is 22-4. Now, obviously, Max is vastly more experienced when it comes to championship fights, but also Calvin has headlined many cards. He's been in the main event spotlight, and in cards with no crowd, I don't think experience is going to play that much of a difference. So very, very intriguing to say the least. Max stands at 5'11", which is paralleled by Calvin Kattar, who will enjoy a 3-inch reach advantage over Max Holloway's 69-inch reach, as he has a 72-inch reach. So that's 3 inches for a boxer in a fight where both guys are going to look to box. That's going to be interesting to see how he utilizes it. To describe their styles, I would say Max Holloway is a pressure boxer. He likes to be in your face the whole time. His style wears you down, and in rounds 4 and 5 is when he's particularly dangerous. Wasn't the case against Volkanovski, which was interesting, but we've seen that Max has a lot of spinning techniques, and in his last fight we saw that he's throwing some head kicks, and his leg kicks are improving as well, which is going to be a key facet in this fight. Calvin Kattar, I would describe him strictly as a boxer. Yes, he can kick, yes, he can wrestle, but we've seen his skills. We've seen him lose to Renato Moicano, and we've seen where he stands out and where he fails, and that's where his susceptibility to leg kicks comes in. That's what Zabit utilized in his favor as well. I think Calvin Kattar is a very dangerous fighter, carries big hands in both power, big power in both hands, and I think he's able to utilize that to the best of his abilities. Some of their key wins. So Max Holloway, he's got a lengthy and great resume, being regarded as one of the best featherweights of all time. He's got wins over the likes of Cub Swanson, Ricardo Lamas, Anthony Pettis. Of course, he beat Jose Aldo not once, but twice. He's beaten Frank Edgar, knocked out Brian Ortega in a battering. And so incredible career. Even his most recent fight, a fight that he lost, the win could have gone to him. So he's just, the cream of the crop, one of the greatest featherweights of all time. Calvin Kattar hasn't got a resume to that extent, but he's got some really good wins on his ledger. Guys like Jeremy Stevens, he's beaten Ricardo Lamas, he actually knocked out Ricardo Lamas. Most recently, he took out Dan Ige. He made his debut by beating Andre Touchy-Feely, and of course he's beaten Shane Hurricane Burgos, who's a guy that I respect a hell of a lot. The X factor for this fight, coming into this fight, for me is going to be Max Holloway's experience in 5-round tough fights. He's been there so many times. He'll know what to do, how to cope with it. Whereas Calvin Kattar, really, this is his first time he's going to, in my opinion, find himself in a lot of pressure in a long distance fight. He's shined when it comes to conditioning. I'm not doubting his conditioning, but how's he going to suffer with that? And I think the biggest X factor for Calvin Kattar is going to be his punching power. He carries a lot of power in both his hands. He's a great boxer, great fundamentals when it comes to his boxing. That's going to cause Max Holloway a lot of problems. The issues for Max Holloway coming into this fight is the fact that he's 1-3, loss of momentum. How's that going to impact him mentally? And for Calvin Kattar, it's going to be his susceptibility to leg kicks. And he's quite obvious in how he's going to fight. He's going to come out there, look to box with you, and take your head off. Yes, he's dangerous, but we know what he's coming to do. Let's get into the prediction. This is a fight that will be fought on defeat. It's going to start on defeat, it's going to end on defeat, and has potential to be the fight of the night. I never like to say that for certain because, you know, any fight can be a dud. They're both going to be looking to box. I think Calvin Kattar is going to come out and look pretty crisp early. I think it's going to light Max up in the early fight. I think Max is going to have, you know, adapted and evolved his game though, and that's what I saw in his most recent fight. I think he's going to be throwing kicks, spinning kicks, kicks to the legs, kicks to the head, and that's where the diversity in the game is going to catch up. With Max, he's going to be utilizing his footwork, and his cast iron chin is going to keep him in the fight even when Calvin's having success. By the time rounds 3 and 4 come down, I think Calvin would have slowed down, even though his condition is exceptional, and I think Max will be turning it up, and his punching in combinations is going to start to make a difference. I think Max is going to start to outbox Calvin towards the end of the round 3, and take into the fact that I think he's going to be throwing kicks throughout. I think by the time round 4 and 5 rolls around, Calvin's going to be both exhausted and battered and sore. I think in round 5 we're going to see Max completely take away with this fight, and I think Max is going to dominate this fight from rounds 2 to 3 onwards, and we're going to see Max win a pretty, you know, dominant unanimous decision. Bearing in mind, I expect him to lose the first round, or maybe even first round and a half, maybe even first 2 rounds. So guys, for my official prediction, I'm going to go with Max Holloway to win a decision after a tough couple of rounds, but I think Calvin Kattar is still going to look exceptional. Now, can Calvin Kattar come out, hurt Max and do a lot of damage? Absolutely. Calvin Kattar is so dangerous. But Max is so good, so talented, so durable that I just don't see an easy route for Calvin to win this. And actually, I would anticipate that Max is going to walk away with this one as the fight goes on, utilizing that experience and that pressure that he has, that he's famous for, and the diversity in his game that he enjoys over someone like Calvin Kattar, who in my opinion, whilst being exceptional, is pretty, you know, obvious what he's coming to do. So anyways, fight fans, that's how I see it going. How do you guys see it going? Why don't you guys comment below, let me know your thoughts on this fight, let me know how you see this fight going, and let me know if you enjoyed the breakdown. If you're new here, remember to like, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Thank you for watching, guys. I'm Rohan, and this is Mindful Combat.